What's good, everybody? I go by Q10, host of this podcast, the One Flame Podcast. Stay tuned. What's up, everybody? So, one of the concepts of this podcast is to take subjects that are usually really hard to digest or explain and break it down so that everyday guy like me will be able to understand them and at least get the concept of what this complex matter is about. There's a lot of things that's happening in the world that we need to learn more about and be involved in the ushering of it in. But you can't do that if you don't know what it is. You can't do that if you're not aware of these things happening. So that's a part of what this podcast is about. And this deep dive that I did and want you to check out is about quantum computing. And whenever I think of quantum mechanics and quantum theory and all that kind of stuff, everybody's like, whoa, that's way over my head and everything like that. Well, with this deep dive, hopefully you start to get a little bit of what it's about, a little bit of why it's so groundbreaking and why it's also hard to explain. I thought this was cool. Hope you think it's cool too. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Let somebody know about it. Let's conversate about it. I appreciate those that's been reaching out and throwing some comments and everything in the chat about it and sharing with some people and everything. Let's keep this conversation going. And let me know what kind of topics that you guys want me to do next. Definitely hit up the YouTube channel. I appreciate the action and the energy that's picking up. So, all right. No more talking. Let's get it going. All right. Peace.
Welcome to the deep dive. Let's try to imagine something for a second. Computers solving problems that would take, well, literally millions of years for today's best machines.
Yeah, it sounds like science fiction, doesn't it?
It really does, but it's actually the promise of quantum computing. So our mission for this deep dive is to explore what exactly quantum computing is. You know, how is it so fundamentally different from the classical computers we all use every day?
Right, let's break it down. And maybe the best place to start is the absolute basics, the bit.
Okay, the classical bit, like in my laptop right now.
Exactly. Think of it like a simple light switch. It's either on-N, which we call 1, or it's OFF, a 0. That's it. Always one or the other.
Straightforward, 0 or 1. But then comes the quantum version, the qubit. And that's where things get weird, like a dimmer switch, not just on-off.
That's a great analogy, actually. It's called superposition. The qubit can be a 0, it can be a 1, or it can be in sort of a combination of both states at the same time.
Both at once. How does that work?
Well, think about flipping a coin. While it's spinning in the air, before it lands, you could say it's in a state of being both heads and tails. Only when it lands, when you measure it, does it become one or the other.
Okay, I think I get that. So one qubit holds more information than one bit because of superposition.
Precisely. But there's another layer, another really strange quantum effect called entanglement.
Ah, yes, Einstein's spooky action at a distance. That sounds spooky.
It kind of is. Imagine you have two qubits and they're entangled. They become linked in this really fundamental way. If you measure one qubit and find it's a 0, you instantly know the other one must be a 1.
Instantly, even if they're miles apart.
Billions of miles,
Right.
Theoretically. No signal travels between them. It's like they're still connected intrinsically. This linked fate, this correlation, is incredibly powerful for computation.
Right, so these properties, superposition and entanglement, they're what make quantum computers fundamentally different from my laptop, which runs on, classical physics.
completely different. Classical computers evolved from things like Babbage's engines to transistors, processing data step by step using those simple zeros and ones, great for everyday tasks.
But quantum computers, they operate under quantum mechanics. And they don't look like laptops. I've seen pictures, they look like elaborate chandeliers.
That's often the case, yeah. That structure usually houses the quantum chip and the complex wiring needed to control the qubits. And they need extreme cold, like near absolute zero temperatures.
Why so cold?
Because qubits are incredibly fragile. The slightest vibration or warmth can knock them out of their quantum state. That's called decoherence. It causes errors. So the cold keeps them stable.
Okay, so definitely not replacing my phone anytime soon. These aren't for browsing the web.
No, not at all. They're not meant to replace classical computers for everyday things. Their strength lies in how they scale. Adding qubits exponentially increases their power for certain problems.
Exponentially. So a few more qubits doesn't just make it a bit faster, it makes it astronomically more powerful for specific tasks.
Exactly. Tasks that are just impossible for even the biggest classical supercomputers. Things like complex simulations, optimization problems.
And I keep hearing about cryptography, that quantum computers pose a threat.
They do. There's an algorithm, Shor's algorithm, that could theoretically break much of the encryption we rely on today, the stuff that protects online banking emails.
Okay, that sounds bad.
It is a serious concern. But quantum mechanics also offers a solution, things like quantum key distribution, or QKD.
QKD, how does that help?
It uses the principles of quantum physics to create encryption keys in a way that if anyone tries to eavesdrop, the very act of observing disturbs the quantum state, alerting the users. It promises fundamentally secure communication.
So quantum breaks encryption, but also creates unbreakable encryption.
In a sense, yes.
Yeah.
It provides new tools for security based on physics itself. And beyond security, think about designing new medicines or materials.
How would it help there?
Quantum computers could simulate molecules with incredible accuracy, at the quantum level. This could rapidly speed up discovering new drugs for diseases like cancer, or designing better batteries, or more efficient solar cells.
Wow. And optimization too, like logistics or finance.
Absolutely. Finding the best routes for delivery trucks, optimizing financial portfolios, managing complex systems. Problems with a huge number of variables are where quantum computers could really shine.
Okay, the potential is huge. But what about the challenges? You mentioned qubits are fragile.
That's the biggest one, decoherence. Keeping qubits stable and correcting the errors that inevitably creep in is a massive engineering challenge.
Error correction, how does that work?
Well, it's complex, but basically you need many physical qubits, which are imperfect, to encode a single, more reliable logical qubit. The overhead is huge, maybe hundreds or even thousands of physical qubits for one logical one.
Thousands to one. So we need millions of these physical qubits for useful machines, but current ones only have dozens, hundreds.
Right. Scaling up is the other major hurdle. Building and controlling systems with millions of stable qubits is a monumental task.
And that leads to broader questions, doesn't it? Societal impact.
For sure. There's the risk of a digital divide, because these machines will be incredibly expensive, at least initially.
Yeah.
There's a big skills gap. We need more people who understand quantum.
Plus the security implications we talked about. Breaking versus making codes.
Exactly. And even geopolitical aspects, a sort of quantum arms race. It all means we need really thoughtful development, strong ethical guidelines, and a focus on responsible innovation.
So to wrap up our deep dive, we started with qubits. Their strange quantum properties like superposition and entanglement, saw how different they are from classical bits, explored their amazing potential for things like medicine and security, but also acknowledged the huge challenges like decoherence and scaling.
Yeah, it's a fascinating field, moving incredibly quickly.
And understanding this, even at a basic level, isn't just about knowing how future supercomputers work. It's about grasping a fundamentally new way information can be processed, a way that will likely reshape our world.
Absolutely. So maybe the thought to leave you with is this. As we move towards this likely hybrid future with classical and quantum computers working together, how might that change our very relationship with technology? What problems might become solvable that we don't even dare to imagine today?